So while I was working on this book last night, I was talking about how the first war ever known to mankind started in heaven. So if the first war actually started in heaven and it was brought down to earth, who is responsible for war? For the war that's being waged, because I tied that into how Yahweh or God is a war God. Oh, he's a war deity. The Bible says that God is a man of war, right? So if God is a man of war, the war started in heaven. So heaven is also a place of war. If heaven is a place of war, and God is a man of war, and everywhere God is, you have war. Everywhere there's war, there's God. So who's really responsible for war? And then I tied that into Jesus speaking of the signs of the end time, the so-called end times, right? How he says, you know, one of the signs of the end times, which has been going on since the beginning of time, is war. Well, if Jesus knew that God is a war, that war is consistent with the nature of God. Like, if war is a character trait of God, there will always be war, because if God has always been, then these signs will always be here. The signs of war will always be relevant to the times we're living in, because where there's religion, where there's God, there will always be war. And so was Jesus indicating that there will always be war because God is a man of war, and God has always been. And this gonna be war will always be relevant to whatever time that we're living in. So it was profound how I was putting it together.